how to calculate the possible savings that you proposed by energy saving measures. There's a few steps you have to take then. First, you need to know roughly, of course, what the reference energy use breakdown is. So how much of your energy is related to heat, which may come from different sources, and how much is used for electricity. Then, of course, you need to know what is the breakdown of the heating energy. So what is used for domestic heating, what is used for hot water, and what is used for cooking, for instance. The breakdown of electricity is also something you need to know. So how much is used for lighting, how much is cooling, and how much is the use of equipment. Finally, you need to estimate the potential savings that you propose with all the measures that you have taken into account with your design this week. Now, there's an option, of course, that you don't know the total energy breakdown, which I hope you don't, but it is possible. Then we have to look at the different climates, and I only took 5 main climates now, but it's just as an estimate to see what might be the division. In that case, I would assume this. So if you have a polar climate, which is a cold climate, colder than temperate, you have a temperate climate, a continental climate, a warm climate, which is also perhaps a Mediterranean climate, and then you have a tropical climate, then you see that you could divide the demand for energy for heat or electricity according to this graph. So use that to have a sort of an idea of the division between heat and electricity. Next step, of course, is that you think about the breakdown of heat. If you don't know it now, you could use these figures, which are then again to be applied for the different climates. So look at how much you approximately need for heating, for domestic hot water, or for cooking as the main sources of heat in a building. Electricity, same story basically. You look at the different energy users in the building. Most of it is related to lighting, to cooling, or to the use of equipment. And you can use these figures, as stated here, depending on the different climates that you have your building in. And finally, of course, you have to estimate the savings that of the measures you propose to your building. You can assume the following savings. For instance, thermal insulation could help you to save 20 to 50% of your heating demand. And this, of course, depends on how much thermal insulation you can add, the thickness of it, and also, of course, how much of your building is opaque, in that sense that this is a part of your envelope that can be insulated. The second, high-performance glass, so well-insulating glass, which can be double glass or a triple glass even. That also depends, of course, on how many windows do you have and the type of glass you actually choose. Then you can save, for instance, energy for your hot water purposes by using water-saving taps or energy-efficient equipment for that. Thereby you can save on your showering or hot water usage in the building. The last one I want to show is cooking. You can shift from cooking on gas or on wood or on other sources to cooking electrical, which could also be induction cooking. In that sense, of course, you save all the energy used from fuels and it shifts to electricity. So the reduction that you have on heating, you have to add, of course, a little bit on electricity use. Now, if you also want to do a similar exercise for electricity, these are figures you can think of. You could think of changing your lighting. If you have light bulbs right now and you replace them by fluorescent lighting, then you can save approximately half of the energy used. If you do use LED lighting, light-emitting diode lighting, then you can save a lot, as you can see here. Of course, it's more expensive, but a lot of energy can be saved for lighting. Shading devices, of course, are important to reduce the upheating of your building and therefore with the artificial cooling you have to install. So think about this figure, and it also depends on how many windows do you have, how is your building oriented. So you have to estimate it a little bit yourself. It's a bit about thinking brightly about it yourself and then using a figure that could be justifiable. The same applies to a green roof. Many of you propose green roofs, which can, of course, limit the temperature going through the roof into the building and thereby saving the cooling. It depends, of course, how many floors you have. If you have more floors, your roof is relatively smaller and then has little influence. But if you have one floor only, then of course it can make a big difference. Estimate it yourself. And finally, of course, there's energy saving equipment. Not just A or A+, can also be A++ or A+++. And this equipment, of course, can save a lot compared to your other devices. And I'm thinking about fridges, freezers, TVs, etc., etc. So if you use those, you can save up to 50% of your electricity use for that part. Now, if you all combine them together, so you calculate the fraction of heating, the savings in heating, and then add up to the savings that you can estimate through electricity use, then you can sort of make an estimation of your total savings by this first step of saving energy. Thank you for your attention. I wish you good luck, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye.